We are live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday morning. We're back on a money-making mission here on this lovely Monday morning. We'll call it lovely where I'm at here in Tampa, Florida. It is kind of an overcast, rainy type of day, but we're not going to let that weigh us down. We're going to find a way to make some money tonight. We've got a 10-game NBA slate to talk about, so if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. We're on the journey to 3,000 subs. We're trying to get there by the first of the year. It's going to be a tall task. It's going to be a difficult goal, but with your help, all of you guys who are not subscribed yet, I think we can get it done. Let's try and go for it. Aim high, right? That's the goal. Speaking of goals, we hit 101 likes in our last stream, which was over on Friday. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for the continued support on these live streams and just supporting me as a content creator and the channel in general. Hopefully that Friday video landed you on some profits. Hopefully Saturday and Sunday was also a profitable weekend for you as well. So let's try and run those subscriptions up. Let's try and run those likes up. And let's try to run our bankrolls up this morning as we go through what is a pretty big NBA slate. Thank you to everybody who is already up in here this morning. I think you guys are probably a part of the notification gang. So having notifications turned on is probably your best bet. So good morning to George, Andy, Jay, Josh, Ronald's up in the house. Ronald just joined Patreon. Thank you so much for joining Patreon, Ronald. I appreciate your support. That's a good way for you to support my content as well, going beyond just liking and subscribing and sharing these videos. You could support me and be a part of a PrizePicks and player prop focused community over on Patreon. I have a Discord channel, a Discord group that's all set up as well. You could check out the links to all of that stuff down below, Patreon, Discord, etc. So if you want to support, that is a great way to do so. And I thank you, Ronald, for doing that. Good morning to you as well. Jared, Anthony's up in the house, longtime supporter. Good to see you again. G-Lo is back with the bars. I'm not going to go against G-Lo. I got a chance to watch some of G-Lo's videos. And let's just say that I don't want my mama catching no strays from G-Lo out there in these freestyle streets. So I'm going to stay away from you, G-Lo. Carlos, what's going on? Good morning to you. A-Dub's up in the house. Good to see you winning some money, A-Dub. Kellen, notification gang up in the building. Red Sox is in here. Andy's up in here. And Cameron, what's up to you as well? Alexis, what's up to you as well? Kylie, good morning to you. Looking like you're finding a strategy to make some money, rather. So that's good. Good to hear people are winning some money this weekend. I like to hear different strategies and seeing kind of what everybody is up to. So we got about 31 people up in here right now. It's a Monday morning. It's also a holiday week. We got obviously Thanksgiving coming up, and then we got Black Friday for all you crazy shoppers out there. So let's go ahead and dig into tonight's slate and take a look and see what's going on. For that, I use NumberFire. They've got a good little game info and starting lineup breakdown here. 10 games, I believe, is the number that we're looking at. So we got the Brooklyn Nets at the Cleveland Cavaliers tipping off at 7 p.m. Obviously, no Kyrie Irving, no Joe Harris, and no Bruce Brown for the Brooklyn Nets. For the Cleveland side, no Cedi Osman is a game time decision, I should say, but no Evan Mobley, no Colin Sexton. So two of the young players for the Cavs are going to be out, already ruled out. Also at 7 p.m., we got the Charlotte Hornets at the Washington Wizards. We've got Bertans, who is a game time decision. Hachimura still sitting out for Washington, although I believe he is starting to get closer and closer to making his return to the lineup. The Wizards will gladly welcome him back. 7:30 p.m., the Houston Rockets at the Boston Celtics. We've got Kevin Porter Jr. as a game time decision. For the Boston side, we've got both the Time Lord, Robert Williams, and Jaylen Brown as game time decisions. Those are two very impactful pieces of news. Be on the lookout for that Boston Celtics injury news. 7:30 p.m., the Oklahoma City Thunder at the Atlanta Hawks. We've got SGA for OKC as a GTD. That's a lot of letters. For the Atlanta side, we've got Bogdanovic as a game time decision, and no Hunter for Atlanta. At 8 p.m., we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves at the New Orleans Pelicans. Josh Okogie, game time decision. Naz Reid, also a game time decision. And then over on the New Orleans side, Devontae Graham, game time decision. Zion Williamson continues to sit out, but it sounds like he's getting closer and closer to making his return for the NOP. Now, Monday, 8 p.m., we've got Indiana at Chicago. No TJ Warren still for Indiana. Nikola Vucevic starting to get closer and closer to returning from COVID-19, so he might be making his return to the Chicago Bulls lineup this week. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. My Orlando Magic taking on the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. A long list of injuries. Gary Harris, Cole Anthony, both game time decisions for Orlando. Over on the Milwaukee side, keep an eye out on George Hill, Rodney Hood. DiVincenzo and Lopez are still out for Milwaukee. 8:30 p.m. Phoenix Suns at San Antonio Spurs. Nothing real impactful over on the Phoenix side. Nothing super impactful either over on the Spurs side. So we're not too worried about either of those teams and their injuries. Memphis Grizzlies at Utah Jazz, 9 p.m. This should be a fun little game here. For the Memphis Grizzlies, we got Dylan Brooks already ruled out. So maybe a little bump up to... what's his name? Bane. There you go. Desmond Bane. We've also got Milton out for Memphis. So maybe more Bane, maybe more Ja Morant. If we could ask for more from Ja Morant, I don't know how we can. He's having a great season, but maybe we get even more out of Ja tonight. And then finally, the late night hammer, 10 p.m., Philadelphia 76ers at Sacramento Kings. We've got Danny Green, Joel Embiid as game time decisions. And no surprise, Ben Simmons continues to sit out for Philly. So let's take a look here. We've got some other folks jumping into the chat. Good to see you. Up to 42 viewers. George is in the building. John, good morning to you, John. Taylor's up in here. What's up, Ninja? And Zebo. Yo, Zebo. All right, let's take a look, guys. It's time to get this thing started. We got a lot of names, a lot of games to talk about. Starting things off here, we're going to be doing our research on Props.Cash. Props.Cash, $19.99 a month, gets you access to not only NBA, but you get NFL and you get NHL, which is still in beta, but it's coming along. It's a progressing little sport, but we've got it all right here on Props.Cash. If you want to sign up, use the link down in the description below. Just $19.99 a month, guys. Let's go. It's changing the way I'm doing my player prop research. I think you can kind of tell it's a pretty nifty tool, a pretty handy thing to have in your toolkit. Props.Cash. Get it before it's gone. Not really. It's not going anywhere. In fact, it's actually going to be here for a really long time. So Props.Cash. Looking at these NBA player prop trends, we're starting things off with points, guys. Top of the heap here is Tyrese Halliburton, Sacramento Kings, 12.5 points, 66.7% hit rate at 12.5 points. So we can kind of look at PrizePicks here. PrizePicks is the player prop reference site of choice. If you don't play on PrizePicks yet, there's a link down in the description. Promo code Curry gets you a 100% instant deposit match on your first deposit all the way up to $100. So we're not seeing any Tyrese Halliburton. How about Grayson Allen for Milwaukee? He's got a pretty high hit rate, covering his 12.5 point prop 65% of the time. Pretty good hit rate there. Not seeing any Grayson Allen, unfortunately. So we gotta give PrizePicks a little time. Maybe they'll get some of these props up on the board. Harrison Barnes, Sacramento Kings, 15.5 points, 65% hit rate. Not seeing any Harrison Barnes up on the board either. So they're kind of not feeding us any of those low-hanging fruits, those high hit rate guys. What about Jonas Valenciunas at 18.5 points, sporting a 61% hit rate? Do we have Joe Val? We do. And in fact, we actually have him at 17.5 points over on PrizePicks. So a little bit of value, which has been the theme over the last few days over on PrizePicks. So if you play your player props somewhere else, you might want to start thinking about signing up on PrizePicks, because we've been seeing some soft lines the last few days over on PrizePicks. A lot of these points out on your various sports books. Joe Val, prime example this morning, 18.5 points, but he's 17.5 over on PrizePicks. So if we're looking to take the overs, PrizePicks is giving us a little bit of value here. So let's go ahead and take a look at Jonas Valenciunas. New Orleans, they're going to be visited by the Minnesota Timberwolves. So Karl Anthony Towns and company looking like the matchup here for Jonas Valenciunas. But we got to talk about him, because over the course of the season, he's averaging 19.4 points per game. And in his last 10 games, he is averaging 19 points per game. Both numbers much higher than the 17.5 you're going to get him at over on PrizePicks. In fact, in his last 5, he's still averaging more than 17.5 points, 17.8 in his last 5 games, and then 21 points the last time he faced the Minnesota T-Wolves. So what you're seeing here on this chart is his hit rates. Green means good, red means bad. Very simple concept here on Props.Cash. We moved this down from 18.5 down to 17.5, and you can see that last 5 average, it does highlight green now instead of red because he's averaging more than 17.5 points. So overall, guys, 6 out of 10 games, 60% hit rate. We're not really seeing any action at 18.5 points in terms of the over or the under. We're even Steven at -110. But we go down here, we could take a look at this matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They rank 18th in points allowed, so kind of a soft matchup here in terms of the amount of points we can expect New Orleans to score as a team. 13 in field goal percentage, 10th in three-pointers allowed, 4th in three-point field goal percentage, 30th in free throws allowed. So all of you that like to play those free throw props, maybe you should take a look if they have any New Orleans Pelicans players up on the PrizePicks board. Maybe you should attack those free throws and maybe take the over. Maybe they'll put Brandon Ingram up at 4.5 free throws. Maybe we look to take the over on Brandon Ingram's free throws. In terms of center defense, though, probably the most important metric out of all of these here, 14th. So just kind of middle of the road, middle of the pack. We're not really afraid of the Minnesota Timberwolves and them shutting Jonas Valenciunas down. Overall, though, they give up, they don't give up. The implied total is 213 points with a 3.5-point spread in favor of the visiting Minnesota T-Wolves. Over the last 5 games, he's averaging over 32 minutes per game. And if we take a look at his field goal attempts, they are in a little bit of a decline here. 14.2 over the course of the season, around 14 in his last 10, but just a little over 12 in his last 5 games. So he's seen his field goal attempts kind of drop off a little bit. A lot of that is largely in part to the 7 field goal attempts he had against Memphis and then 9 against Miami. So he had a couple of games where he really went well below his averages, but typically he's up there in the low teens, mid-teens in terms of field goal attempts per game. And yes, for a big guy, he actually does take a couple of three-pointers per game too, so something to consider with Jonas Valenciunas. Again, the 17.5 points, a bit of value here. Looking a little squishy, a little soft, which is what we like as player prop pickers. In terms of a projection, 18.6 points is his projected output tonight, according to numberfire.com. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, you could go and cross-reference these projections on other sites. So Numberfire is one free site for free projections. You could also go check out RotoWire. They've got free player prop projections, fantasy point projections. You can also check out Betting Pros, that's it. Bettingpros.com. They also have some player prop projections for you. But overall, Jonas Valenciunas at 17.5. I'm liking the over here. We got projections that seem to be favorable. Not really a tough or difficult matchup. Pretty high totals. The game should stay pretty close and competitive. And he's went over 17.5 points in a previous matchup versus this same Minnesota Timberwolves team. So I'm liking a lot of the things here for Jonas Valenciunas in terms of maybe going over. Going on to the next player, next prop. What else do we have here? Kerose Levert at 14.5 points, a 60% hit rate. Currently a -114 to go under, however. Are we going to get Kerose Levert up on the board? Doesn't look like he's up on the board yet either. So pretty much out of the top 5 or 6 high hit rate points props, we've only got one guy up at the moment, and it's Jonas Valenciunas, who was at 17.5 instead of the 18.5. So hopefully PrizePicks adds some more of these high hit rate guys in. Let's go down and see if maybe we can find a low hit rate play. And I think one that jumps out right away is probably Blake Griffin at 7.5 points. 25% hit rate, not a very good score this season, not really asked to score a whole lot either. Although I will mention that there are some injuries in this Brooklyn Nets lineup that we should be mindful of. Talked about Joe Harris being out. Obviously, Kyrie Irving's out. That's no surprise. But Bruce Brown is the latest guy to be added to the Brooklyn Nets injury report. So at 7.5 points, this might seem like a steal with a guy who's hitting this or covering this prop in just 25% of his games. But we also need to realize and notice that there are some major injuries, major missing pieces here for Brooklyn. So maybe Blake Griffin is thrusted into more of a scoring role. But we're going to take a look at him anyway, because in 4 straight games, he has gone under 7.5 points. The last time he went over was against New Orleans, 8 points back on November 12th. So let's take a closer look at Blake Griffin here. The Brooklyn Nets, they'll be visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers. We talked about some injuries over on the Cleveland side. Some of their big guys will be out. Evan Mobley, the most notable one. But if we look at Blake Griffin here at 7.5 points, which is where you're going to find him out on your favorite sports book, he's only went over this number 3 games out of his last 10. That's a 30% hit rate. Looking at some of his averages here, 5.7 points per game over the course of the season, 6.2 over his last 10, 5.2 over his last 5, and just 2 points the last time he faced the Cleveland Cavaliers, which was just back here on November 17th. So only 2 points scored against the Cavs in that previous matchup. So overall, guys, looking pretty good here in terms of maybe we should be thinking about going under. Cleveland, across the board, pretty tough team. You wouldn't think it, but the Cavaliers have been pretty sneaky good this season, ranking 2nd in points allowed, 11th in field goal percentage allowed, 3rd in three-pointers allowed, 11th in three-point field goal percentage allowed, number 1 in the league in free throws allowed, and number 2 in power forward defense. That's right. So this is a very tough matchup here for Blake Griffin. Not that he's looking to score anyways, but even if he was, he would have a hard time doing so according to the rankings here on props.cash. Now we look at the total on this game, just 209 points, not a very high implied total. The Brooklyn Nets, even though they're the visiting team, they are favored by about 6 points. Now, in terms of minutes, he's seeing his minutes kind of come down a little bit, 22.8 minutes in his last 5 games. That marks a little bit of a decline versus his last 10 games, where he's at 24.1 points. So that's kind of good if you're looking to take any unders on Blake Griffin. Less court time means less opportunities for him to score points and get any of those other stats that you might be playing, rebounds and such. Now, the last time he played Cleveland, he got 18 minutes of run. So if he got 18 minutes again tonight, we would be in hog heaven here. We would really, really like him to get as few minutes as possible. In terms of field goal attempts, not seeing a lot of shots go up here for Blake Griffin, averaging about 6.6 field goal attempts per game in his last 5. And then that previous matchup just a few nights ago against Cleveland had just 5 field goal attempts. So you kind of get the picture here. Blake Griffin's not put up a ton of shots, nor is he putting up a ton of points. Let's get a projection for Blake Griffin today. It looks like he's at 7.2 projected points, which puts him under 7.5, a lot closer to the 7 than the 8 number at 7.2. So I'd have to say that maybe going under would continue to be the move here for Blake Griffin. What is up to everybody who's just now joining the chat? Up to 61 viewers. We've got Without Warning up in here. Smooth is in the building. Kush, good to see you, Kush. Gio, good morning to you as well. Nick, good morning. Markel, how's it going? Who else we got in here? I feel like I missed somebody. There he is. Wesley, good morning to you, Wesley. Longtime supporter of the channel, of the community. Wesley's a Patreon member. It's good to see you up in the building, Wes. Thanks for stopping by, taking time out of your morning to drop in on some player prop research. Let's go ahead and talk about the next stat category here. We talked points. We got to wait for PrizePicks to load up some more of those player props on the board. But let's go ahead and move it over to rebounds. Take a look and see who's been hitting at a high hit rate and who hasn't in terms of cleaning the glass. The first guy that jumps out to me is Ja Morant. He is referred to by many in my Discord community as money-making Morant. And on this Monday morning, let's just add another M. Let's call him money-making Morant on Monday. So let's hopefully see if Ja Morant can go over 5.5 rebounds. Guys, here we go again. If you don't play on PrizePicks, they're giving you every reason in the book to really consider signing up. 5 rebounds is his number over on PrizePicks today. Look, I know he had 0 in his last game. He had 5 against the Clippers. But if we look at the big picture here for money-making Morant, I think you will see that most of the time he goes over 5.5 boards. Currently, he's a minus 140 to go under 5.5 rebounds, which is why PrizePicks has went to their dashboard. They took the dial for Ja Morant's rebounds and went ahead and turned it down a little notch here, shaving off that hook, that 0.5, and making this a flat 5 rebound number. So let's go ahead and dig in a little bit deeper here on Ja Morant. He is matched up tonight against the Utah Jazz. Tough team, tough team. We're not going to take anything away from Utah here and say that this is a cakewalk by any means, but let's go ahead and pull up the last 10 games here for Ja Morant. And just as I suspected, an 80% hit rate at covering 5.5 rebounds. Now, he is averaging 5.9 rebounds per game over the course of the season. That number goes up when you look at his last 10 averages, and it stays the same over his last 5, 6.4 rebounds. So across the board, his averages are higher than 5 rebounds. Now, we'll dial this down from 5.5 down to 5, and things change slightly. So you saw that this LA Clippers game was red. Now it's gray. Gray meaning he tied or he pushed his custom player prop or alternative player prop line of 5 rebounds, which is where he's at over here on PrizePicks. So things looking really good here. He's got one game basically where he recorded 0 rebounds. They got totally washed by the Minnesota T-Wolves in the last game. Don't expect that to happen again, but for the most part, 8 out of 9, 89% of the time he's gone for 5 or more rebounds. So looking pretty good here across the board. Now let's look at this Utah Jazz matchup here. They are third in rebounds allowed. Tough team to rebound against, giving up just 42 rebounds per game. 11 offensive rebounds allowed, 11th in offensive rebounds allowed, and first in defensive rebounds allowed, 23rd in point guard defense. So you kind of get an idea here. Tough team, right? Tough team across the board. One thing that is scary is that this game currently has a 10-point implied spread. So Utah looking like it could be a blowout here, that they could blow the doors off of the Memphis Grizzlies. 221.5 though implied points, so that's a lot of points, a pretty high total. Anytime a total's 220 or more, I get kind of excited. If we look at the minutes and how they've kind of started to trend down, we look at the full season, 33.7, last 10, 32.7, and last 5, 30.2. The minutes are starting to slide. Starting to come down a little bit here for Ja Morant. I'll blame some of that on this blowout here against Minnesota. And if I remember right, this game against Houston, they blew them out. So he wasn't required to play his full run of minutes. But you look at the other games in his last 5 games, around 31.5, 37, 31.3. So hopefully he gets 30 or more minutes tonight. That would be a good thing. And then you can kind of see how his rebounds shake out here. Total amount of rebounds listed on top. That's represented by the red here. The offensive rebounds that he grabs are represented in green. So Props Hat Cash giving you a good idea. Is this guy an offensive rebounder or a defensive rebounder? Does he do a little bit of both? And you can kind of see the bulk of his rebounds, as is the case for most players, are made up by defensive rebounds. So let's go ahead, get you a projection for Ja Morant. He is at 4.5 rebounds. 4.5 rebounds puts him slightly, ever so slightly under the 5. So kind of get an idea. They think that maybe this is a game where we should think about going under on Ja Morant. You got the money coming in pretty strong on the under at 5.5 rebounds, which is why you're seeing him at 5 rebounds over here on PrizePicks. But guy's got a high hit rate. Only one game where he has not had at least 5 or more rebounds. So history says that maybe the projections, we should fade the projections, but I got to ride with money making Morant on this Monday morning, right? I'm probably going to lean toward the over in this case. Dave, thank you so much for the super chat. You just made my morning, Dave. Dave says, I appreciate your work. Coffee and curry out here on the West Coast. Good luck, everyone. Dave's sipping on some coffee. I'm trying my very first Zoa by Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Healthy Warrior energy drink. I am not paid by these guys, but if you know anybody at the Zoa Corporation, sign your boy up. I'm looking for endorsements. I feel like a warrior already. All right, guys, let's get back to it. We like Ja Morant, or at least I do. I'm probably going to lean toward the over on his rebounds. Let's look at some other guys that have high hit rate, low hit rate. We got Rudy Gobert, 13.5 boards, 68.8% of the time he has gone over 13.5. He's been a guy that I've been clicking the overs on for his rebounds for most of the season. Currently, though, a -132 go under 13.5 rebounds. Not seeing him up on the PrizePicks board either, so we can't really talk about Rudy Gobert too much. Kyle Kuzma, technical difficulties. What has happened here? Kyle Kuzma at 7.5 rebounds. He's got a pretty high hit rate. If we look at his last few games, 10, 8, 13, 11. So he's gone over in 4 out of his last 5. That's an 80% hit rate in his last 5 games. Let's take a look at Kyle Kuzma a little bit closer because the money's also coming in pretty strong on the over at -138. So Kuz, playing for the Washington Wizards this season. In case you haven't noticed, they're taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Now, Charlotte, typically, I like to target them with big guys, so power forwards and centers like Kyle Kuzma. Good spot here potentially for us to go over on some Kyle Kuzma rebounds here. Looking at his last 10 games, it's pretty ugly. 5 out of 10, 50% hit rate at 7.5 boards. Not looking good whatsoever, but things get a little better here when we look at just the last 5. As I mentioned, 4 for 5, 80% hit rate. Now, he did face Charlotte just back here on November 17th. He pulled in 5 boards, didn't quite get the job done. But you look at the other 2 games that are sandwiched around this Charlotte game, 10 boards, 8 boards, 13, and 11. He's been cleaning the glass pretty well here for the most part in his last 5 games. Averaging 9.3 rebounds per game over the course of the season, 7.6 rebounds in his last 10, and 9.4 rebounds in his last 5. So we got to hope that he's somewhere around that 8 to 9 rebound or more range in this rematch against the Charlotte Hornets. Now, here's a good reason to take the over against Charlotte. You could see rebounds allowed, they rank 29th. That means they are the second most giving in terms of rebounds to opposing players, giving up over 49 rebounds per game. Offensive rebounds allowed, they rank 25th. They're giving up a ton of those too. Defensive rebounds, dead last in the league, giving up nearly 38 defensive rebounds per game. So things are looking good here in terms of rebounds. 216.5, not a super sky high implied total, but enough points for us to expect a lot of shots to go up and thus more rebound opportunities. And that's all we can ask for is opportunities for our players to hit the over on their player props. Looking at a 4-point spread here in favor of the Washington Wizards, the home team. And then Kuzma getting about 33 minutes per game in his last 5 games. Last time he played Charlotte, which was back on the 17th of this month, 30.5 minutes. And you can kind of get an idea of how his rebounds shake out here. Mostly a defensive rebounder. Few games, though, he's got a couple of offensive rebounds. Let's get you a projection, though, here on Kyle Kuzma. See what Number Fire has to say. They've got him projected for 8.3 rebounds, so that's a pretty healthy number versus 7.5, making us believe that we should consider going over here. Maybe that game against Charlotte where he only had 5 rebounds was a little bit of a fluke. Maybe we could go back to Kyle Kuzma with his 80% hit rate in his last 5 games. The projections are looking good. The matchups are looking even better against Charlotte. I don't hate it. Could be a bounce back spot. A rematch game, we'll say here. Revenge game for Kyle Kuzma versus the Charlotte Hornets. So there you go. Maybe think about going over on Kyle Kuzma at 7.5 boards. Let's go down and look at some guys that aren't getting it done because we know that hashtag undergang is a real thing, that we should be playing more unders than we probably do. So let's see who has been going under their rebound prop today. Khris Middleton, 5.5 rebounds, just a 22% hit rate. He is currently a minus 148 to go under. Khris Middleton is up on PrizePicks, but he's up at a tricky number at 4.5 rebounds instead of the 5.5 rebounds that you're getting them on your favorite sportsbook. So if you're getting them at 5.5, I would say definitely consider going under. Now, 4.5, things take on a little bit of a different tone here. 5 rebounds, 5 rebounds, 5 rebounds, 8, 5. So he's pretty consistent at going over 4.5 rebounds, at least in his last 5 games anyway. Now, he made his return after a long absence here on November 17th. So let's just look at that last 3 game log, 5, 8, and 5. So he's gone over in all 3 games at 4.5. I won't dig in much deeper on this particular prop, but let's pull up a projection here on Khris Middleton and just see what Number Fire has to say. They got him at 5.6. So I think if you're playing on PrizePicks and you get him at 4.5 rebounds, he's been pretty damn consistent at going over 4.5 rebounds. If you're playing somewhere else that has him at 5.5 rebounds, I'd either lean toward the under, not saying it's a lock, there's no such thing as that, lean toward the under, or just leave this prop alone and fade it altogether, as he is projected for slightly more than 5.5 rebounds. So kind of a tricky one with Khris Middleton, but against the Orlando Magic, they do give up a lot of rebounds. I will say that as a Magic fan, this is a good spot to potentially target an over at just 4.5 rebounds. Let's look at some other trends. Guys who are not getting the job done on the glass. We got Patty Mills at 2.5 rebounds, just a 23.5% hit rate. He's a big, minus 184 to go under. I doubt we will see him up on the PrizePicks board at 2.5 boards. Yeah, I didn't think so. He's not up there this morning. Kelton Johnson at 6.5 rebounds, a little over 26% hit rate. Currently a minus 140 to go under. Not seeing any Kelton Johnson up on the board, but if you can get him somewhere else at 6.5 boards, you might want to take the under at just a 26.7% hit rate. We got Michael Conley Jr., 2.5 rebounds, just a little over 28% of the time he covers this prop. Also a pretty big under at minus 140. Not seeing any Michael Conley Jr. There's Rudy Gobert. We talked about him earlier at 13.5 boards. Well, they got him at 12.5, so a little bit of value here versus your favorite sports book. So just a quick glimpse here at Rudy Gobert. He's gone over in 1, 2, 3 out of his last 5. Comes really close when he doesn't go over. 11 against Toronto, 11 against Indy. So at 12.5, I'd probably lean toward the over, being that we're getting a 1 rebound value here over on PrizePicks. So that could be a way to go. But enough about the rebounds. Let's go ahead and talk about assists. I think you guys kind of get a good idea here of some different ways you could go. Let's move it over to the assist category and see what's popping. Good morning to all 76 of you. For those who are just joining, it's great to see you. Said good morning to you. Icy Blends is in the building. Yo, right back at you, Icy Blends. Good to see you back here. Jeff B's up in the building. What's up, Jeff B? Jong? Good to see you, Jong. Yeah, Conley over assist. I took that one the other night. Did not work out, but this is a good opportunity, a good spot, right, to go right back to that prop. That's my favorite time to go back to a prop when they fail to hit. Deb Nesht, what's happening? So who is your favorite picks for today? Why you got the frowny face, Deb Nesht? Why so down? Why so blue, my friend? We're having fun here. We're still doing our research. We don't know what the favorite plays are yet. We'll get there, though. I have a feeling we'll get there. So we talked about some points and rebounds. Let's talk about some assists. DeJounte Murray. Gosh, if I'm killing your name, Mr. Murray, I apologize. But DeJounte, you guys got to help me out. Says 6.5 assists, 73.3% of the time he goes over that number. We're not seeing him up on the PrizePicks board, though. For good reason. At 73.3% hit rate and a minus 134 to go over. That's like a free square. They're like giving props away. So they're not going to put that one up on the PrizePicks board, at least not at 6.5. Maybe they put them up at 7 or 7.5 like they like to do. Gordon Hayward, 2.5 assists. 66% of the time he's covered this prop. Currently a minus 140 to go over. Not seeing any Gordon Hayward up this morning either, guys. Bradley Beal, 5.5 assists, though. He is up on the PrizePicks board, and he's at a lower number than 5.5. He is actually at exactly 5 assists. 61.5% hit rate, minus 102 over, minus 118 under. So let's dig into Bradley Beal's prop here. He's been a guy that more often than not lately, we've been taking the overs on his assists, and it's been working out. It's been a pretty consistent, reliable prop. You could see that in his last 10 games at 5.5 assists, he's gone 8 out of 10, an 80% hit rate. We love 80% hit rates around these parts. But he is at 5 on PrizePicks. So if we take the 5.5 down to 5, you can see that this Miami game now turns gray instead of red, meaning he tied or he pushed in that particular case. And now he is an 89% hit rate, going 8 out of 9 at 5 assists or better over his last 9 games. He's averaging 5.9 assists per game over the course of the season, 6.7 in his last 10, 7.2 in his last 5, and the last time he faced the Charlotte Hornets, he dropped 7 dimes on their heads. So all the averages looking really, really good here for Bradley Beal. Let's scroll down here, take a look at Charlotte's defense. They are 29th in assists allowed. They're giving up the second most assists to opposing teams, over 26 dimes per game. So again, a plus assist situation here for Bradley Beal. Not really sure why PrizePicks gave him to us at 5 instead of the 5.5, but we'll take it. I think he was even at 4.5 earlier in the day. So if you could get Bradley Beal at 5, I would still take the over at 5. Looking at this game total, 216.5. We talked about the spread being just 4 points. Bradley Beal over 36 minutes per game in his last 5 games. So things are looking pretty good here for this Bradley Beal assist prop. I have a feeling it will be a popular play for good reason. Let's get you a projection here on Bradley Beal. They got him right up there close to 5 assists tonight, guys. 4.9. I'm going to round it up, call it 5. And I think at worst case, this could be a push situation, but we really should be considering the over on this particular prop. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the props for assists that have a low hit rate, guys that are not getting the job done. Kevin Huerter, 3.5 assists. I don't think he's up on the PrizePicks board, but if you could get him somewhere else at 3.5 dimes, he's only gone over 3.5 assists in 12.5% of his games and minus 168, a huge number on the under. Jayshawn Tate, 2.5 assists, 25% hit excuse me, 25% hit rate, minus 168 as well. I doubt we see Jayshawn Tate up on the board. We do not, of course, for good reason. Buddy Hield, 2.5 assists, 29.4% of the time he goes over. So that's not a very high hit rate, minus 115 to go over at the moment. Those are the odds. We're not seeing any Buddy Hield up for assists. Kerose Levert, 3.5 dimes, just a 30% hit rate. We did not see any Indiana Pacers up on the board, but still, if you play somewhere else, take a shot, I should say, on Kerose Levert. He is a minus 138 to go over 3.5, though. So we're not seeing a lot of these high hit rate, low hit rate props up on the PrizePicks board. Listen, guys, they know what they're doing. They're not going to just feed us winning picks. They're going to make us work for it. But let's talk about one that we do have before we move to the final statistical category here, the final prop category, which will be 3-point makes. Let's look at Ant Edwards at 3.5 assists because he's been very up or down, hit or miss, very volatile. If you look at his last 5 games, there's games where he goes for 6 assists, and then there's games where he just falls off and has only 1 assist. 3.5, just a 31.3% hit rate. He is currently a minus 128 to go under 3.5. So let's dig in a little deeper here on this prop, get you an idea of more of the historical sample size, what Ant Edwards has been doing or what he's not been doing. And it seems like most of the time he's not dropping 4 or more assists. So over the course of the last 10 games, just a 4 out of 10, 40% hit rate. He is averaging 3.4 assists over the course of the season, putting him slightly under 3.5, meaning he's closer to 3 assists most games than he is 4. Over his last 10, though, 3.6 assists, and then his last 5 also 3.6 assists, so that puts him slightly over 3.5. And then against the New Orleans Pelicans, the last time that they met, 4 assists versus NOP. So let's scroll down here. New Orleans is a pretty giving team in terms of assists, 23rd in the league, giving up just over 25 assists per game. So not a bad look here if you are looking to take the over. This is going to be one of those props where it's starting to feel like a little bit of a coin flip. I don't like coin flip props. I like ones where things kind of seem to align and trend in my favor. But it doesn't look like we're getting all that right now. 34 minutes per game for Ant Edwards. Let's get you a projection on this prop, and then we'll start talking about some 3-point makes. Edwards, he is projected for 3.7 assists. So they got him real close to 3.5. This is going to be one of those assists where he could end up with 3. He could end up with 5 assists. I mean, it could go either way, right? So like I said, kind of a coin flip prop. If you want to take a gamble on it, be my guest. I'd probably lean toward the under. If you had a gun to my head and told me to pick one way or the other, I'd have to go with the under, I guess, in this case. So there you go. Anthony Edwards, assist prop. Let's go ahead and look at some of the 3-point makes over on props.cash. 3-point field goal makes. This one can be tricky, this particular prop category. Let's see who they have up on the PrizePicks board. Well, we actually got a pretty full board here, all things considered. We've got 16 different 3-point make options. Let's see if we can find any good high hit ones or low hit ones here on the board. So we got Karl Anthony Towns, 2.5 3-point makes. This guy has become a pretty darn good 3-point shooter. 75% of his games, he goes over 2.5 threes. Not really seeing any action on the over or the under, but there he is. He's up on the PrizePicks board. And it's been up or down, hit or miss in the last 5 games for Karl Anthony Towns. So let's go ahead. Let's go a step further, go a little deeper here on Karl Anthony Towns and these 3-point makes, and see if maybe going over or under based on the matchups looks like the right way to go here. Now, if we look at his last 10 games, things look pretty good. 7 for 10, 70% of the time he goes over 2.5 3-point makes. Already mentioned we're not seeing any action on the over or the under out on your favorite sports book, so can't really use that as a point of reference. He had 0 against the Clippers, 1 against Sacramento, and 1 against Memphis. But in previous games versus the New Orleans Pelicans, 2 games on the game log here from this season, 10-23, he had 3 3-point makes. 10-25, he had 4 3-point makes. So he covered in both of his previous matchups against the New Orleans Pelicans for whatever that's worth. That's kind of eye-opening, a little positive there. Now, looking at the New Orleans Pelicans defense, 28th in 3-point field goal percentages allowed. So when those 3-pointers go up against the Pelicans, they drop at a pretty damn good rate. And then in terms of total threes allowed, they rank 20th. So they are a bottom 10 team in 3-pointers allowed, meaning they give up a pretty healthy amount of threes, over 12 threes, almost 13 threes given up per game by this New Orleans Pelicans team. Let's go look at Karl-Anthony Towns and his 3-point attempts. For the season, gets about 6 per game. Last 10, a little over 6. But his last 5, they've kind of dropped down a little bit to 4.8. But in those previous games against New Orleans, 8.8 3-point attempts versus the Pelicans. So hopefully we get him up there around 7 or 8 attempts tonight. And he hits 3 out of 7 or 3 out of 8. Can't get you a projection, unfortunately, on the 3-point makes. Number Fire does not offer that, but Betting Pros does. So you could go check out Betting Pros. They've got free 3-point make projections up there for you to check out. There you go. What are you guys thinking about Karl-Anthony Towns? Good morning to you folks that are just now getting here. Up to 97 viewers. Holy smokes. When did that happen? Shot by Tree is in the building. Haven't seen you yet this morning, so I'm saying hello to you. Pavel is in here. Good morning to you, Pavel. Luke Man. Yeah, that's him. He's in the building. What's up, Luke Man? Good morning to everybody who's just now joining. Let's see if we can find some other high hit rate, low hit rate 3-point make props. We got Miles Bridges at 1.5. Is he up on the PrizePicks board? Well, of course not. Why would they do something like that? That would just be silly. But if you could get him somewhere else, over 72% hit rate, minus 186 to go over 1.5 threes. Grayson Allen at 2.5 3-point makes. Over 70% of the time he covers this prop. Minus 115 to go over. We do have some Grayson Allen down here, so we can talk about him. Then we'll go look at a couple of maybe lower hit rate guys. The Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Orlando Magic. I like this matchup for Grayson Allen. If we look at his last 10 games, 70% hit rate, so 7 out of 10. He has gone over 2.5. The money currently coming in on the over at minus 115. If we look at the course of the season, 3.5 3-point makes is his average. 3.7 goes up, and then 3.2 still over 2.5 in his last 5 games. And then he had 4 3-point makes against Orlando in that one game. That just happened 2 days ago. 2 days ago against Orlando. Yep. 2 days ago. So he hit 4 threes against Orlando just a couple days back. So things are looking pretty darn good here for Grayson Allen. I like his chances of going over 2.5 based on what I'm seeing so far. Now against this Orlando defense, they're 14th, so kind of middle of the pack, middle of the road in 3-point field goal percentage allowed, 18th in total 3-pointers allowed, and then in shooting guard defense, they rank 26. So I like these numbers. These are looking pretty squishy, pretty good here for Grayson Allen. Now, Milwaukee is a 12.5 favorite at home. So a huge spread here. It looks like it's going to most assuredly be a blowout. 217 points on the board. That is what the expected totals are for both Orlando and Milwaukee. When you add them together, that's your implied total. Grayson Allen, in terms of minutes, getting about 31 minutes per game in his last 5. In the last game against Orlando, he got nearly 29 minutes. If we look at his 3-point attempts, they are up quite a bit here. So 8.4 over the course of the season, 8 in his last 10, 7.4 in his last 5. But in that game against Orlando, just the last game here, he attempted 11 3-pointers against the Magic, hitting 4 out of 11. So if he's going to shoot 11 threes tonight, maybe shoots 10, maybe shoots 9. I still feel pretty comfortable here if he gets that kind of volume against the Magic that this guy can knock down at least 3 3-point makes. So kind of liking this over, going back to it again for Grayson Allen at just 2.5 3-point makes. Very high hit rate over the course of the season. There's a lot to love, I think, on this particular prop. All right, let's go look and see if we got any low hit rate guys up on the PrizePicks board. We got Bogdanovic, the Utah Bogdanovic, at 2.5 3-point makes. He is up on the board, but he's up at 2 3-point makes. He's got a couple of games here where he's popped off 6 against Miami, 5 against Philly. Probably not going to go here on this particular prop. Probably don't want to tempt fate and take the under. Kerose Levert at 1.5 3-point makes. If we ever see him up on today's PrizePicks board, we should think about taking the under. Just a 20% hit rate, minus 156 to go under. Josh Hart at 1.5 3-point makes. Just a 21.4% hit rate. Not seeing any Josh Hart though. So they do a good job of kind of keeping these props off the board that have the high or low hit rates. James Harden at 2.5. 2.5, yeah, he's been going over more often than not in his last 5 games. So at 2.5, I'd probably lean toward the over. But if you're getting him at 3.5 like he is out on your favorite sports book, then I would say there's a good argument, a good reason to go under. He's currently a minus 184 to go under at 3.5. Kevin Huerter, 2.5 3-point makes, minus 205 to go under that number. We're not going to see him up on the PrizePicks board either. And I'm not really seeing anybody else. So let's go ahead and just go to chat. You guys kind of get an idea who the high hit rate, low hit rate guys are. Hopefully we see more of these props throughout the day added to the PrizePicks board. But let's go ahead, swing it on over to chat. We're already 45 minutes into the stream. Holy crap, where does the time go? It just goes. It just goes when you're having fun. Let's see what you guys are talking about this morning though. Jay says, Giddey up to 29. Too low for my boy today. Are we talking 29 fantasy points for Giddey? Whoa, excuse me. Yeah, 29 fantasy points for Josh Giddey. Too low, he says. So in the last 4 games, he has barely cleared 29 fantasy points. So I think you're talking about maybe going over on Giddey here. Let's get you a projection on his fantasy points. They got him at 30.8. So leaning toward the over here at 29 fantasy points. I mean, I don't hate it. He's gone over in his last 4 games, so I don't mind that whatsoever. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Carlos says, how long do you wait until you place the prop before the game? Well, I would say that on PrizePicks, the earlier you can lock in a player prop, the better. But there's also a little bit of reason to wait. So if you're waiting on big injury news, like, will this player be in or out of today's lineup? Then maybe waiting right until that news is announced could potentially open up some value if you can beat PrizePicks to the punch kind of thing. So I've seen people do it both ways. Wait for more information to come out. And some people who are like, I'm just going to go ahead and lock it in now because I really like this player prop number. But PrizePicks is very active on their board in terms of bumping numbers up, bumping numbers down. So you got to be active too. That's really the way you'll get ahead. What else do we have here? A-Dub, the prop killer, says he turned $5 into $330 betting Cade Cunningham triple double. Prop killer. Yeah, you got the bag on that one for sure. Nice hit. Cade Cunningham had himself a good game last night. Andy says 3 separate 4 out of 5 flex picks on PrizePicks over the weekend. Doubling the money is always nice, but so close to that big payout. Yeah, what you may want to do in those situations, say you have a 5 pick that you're really liking, wouldn't be the worst idea to maybe also play your favorite 2 or maybe even your favorite 3 in a separate line, run a 2 pick or 3 pick entry to go along with that 5 pick entry, just to kind of hedge it out a little bit. Maybe there's one guy in that 5 pick that you're like, I feel a little less confident about him than I do the other 4. So let me go ahead and put my favorite 2 in a 2-pick power play or a 2-pick flex play, whatever you want to go with. But yeah, you could easily double your money on 2-pick flex plays versus getting 4 out of 5 right on a 5-pick flex entry. So, I know we kind of scowl at doubling your money, but doubling your money is not a bad thing. I don't know why that's frowned upon. I know the 10x, the 15x payouts, those are the fun ones to chase. But if you're looking to just build your bankroll up, there's nothing wrong with playing more flex entries. I mean, we get to do this every single day. It's not like PrizePicks is going to run out of money tomorrow for us to win, right? It's not like they're going to run out of money by the end of the week. We got to win it all this week. No, we just need to, win and have a sustainable way of betting and entering lineups and stuff like that, because we get to do this every single day throughout the entire season. So keep that in mind. We don't have to race to the money. We can do more of a marathon approach. So that's just my 2 cents. Kylie says, good morning, CJ. 2 big 5-player power plays for me over the weekend. Cash was good. Let's get after it today, buddy. I think you mean 5-pick flex play, or maybe you did a 4-pick power play to hit the 10x. I don't know. There's 2 different ways you could go about that. George says, Richaun Holmes is on my list. Richaun Holmes is going to be a guy that I'm going to back away from. Let's talk about Richaun Holmes for just a second, because we've got Metu, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's now starting at center for Sacramento. I'm seeing more of Marvin Bagley getting playing time now for Sacramento. They're probably trying to showcase him a little bit so that they could trade him. Let's be honest, Marvin Bagley doesn't want to be in Sacramento. I think they've regretted drafting him. They're probably looking to move him at some point. So they're kind of featuring Marvin Bagley. I would expect that's what's going on. And we're seeing some Alex Len, I think, for Sacramento. So I'm off of Richaun Holmes for the time being until something happens. Maybe somebody gets injured or they're out of the lineup, but I don't trust him anymore. I can't trust him. Kush says, Tyrese Halliburton has burnt him twice in a row. Yeah, Halliburton's been kind of sketchy. Happy Monday, Curry, says Mr. Smooth here. Always looking forward to 10 o'clock for your live show. So it's 11 a.m. Eastern time, 10 o'clock wherever Smooth is reporting from. I love your insight on the player props. Let's see what you see today and get those dubs. Smash those likes. Curry equals the GOAT. Please do what Mr. Smooth has suggested and hit the like button if you haven't yet. Of course, you know our goal is always to go for 100 or more likes. Let's see if we can get it done today. Let's make Monday a great day. Hit the like button. There's 99 of you in here. If you all hit the like button, we'll only need 1 more like for 100 likes, right? Easy does it. Without Warning says, wouldn't bet on any Kings players, especially with the new coach. That's also another good point. Luke Walton is out. He is no longer the Sacramento coach. I believe Alvin Gentry is stepping in as the interim coach. There's no telling what to expect with a new coach in there. So I agree with you. Without Warning, we got to be careful with these Sacramento Kings players. Cameron says he took Klay Thompson under 0.5 points. Okay, is he active? Is Klay Thompson active tonight or something? Jeffrey says, what's up, family? What's up, CJ? What's up to you, Jeffrey? Jeffrey, a longtime Patreon member of the community, Out of Bounds community. Good to see you, Jeff. He says he had a great night last night. He hit on 2 10x payouts. No more bad juju. That's right. You got to change your name in Discord. That bad juju's got to go. We need good juju up in the Discord chat. Dave says coffee and curry on the West Coast. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Dave. Big Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, under 2.5 threes. He's trending down. Okay, so you like the under on Karl Anthony Towns threes. All right. What else are we talking about here? Andy says Beal over assist is basically a free square. Shh, don't tell PrizePicks that. They'll hear you. But yeah, I like Bradley Beal over assist. That looks like a good way to go. George says yes, and the Beal fantasy points at home have been a good look. Okay, we'll keep an eye out on those. Kush says he played Morant when he got that goose egg in his rebounds. I think Ja Morant bounces back. There's no way that he goes for 0 rebounds again. It just can't happen. Nick says Ja's projected for 4.5 rebounds. Okay, good to know. Says Ja's going to have to make an effort for boards versus the Jazz. Yeah, Jazz, tough team. Obviously, you got Gobert in there. You got Hassan Whiteside coming off the bench, rebounding the basketball. You got athletic guys like Donovan Mitchell soaring in there for his share of the rebounds. So, yeah, I agree. It's going to be tough for Ja. It's going to be tough. Says, I didn't know Zoa's was the rocks. Dude is a monster. Yes, he is. Yeah, it's pretty tasty. It's this one that I'm drinking kind of tastes a little bit like Red Bull or Monster. So if you like that, then give Zoa a shot. Not bad. Will says, Rudy is at the bottom of the list on that last one. Yeah, we found Rudy Gay finally down here at Rudy Gobert, not Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay's been hooping, though, for the Jazz in the last couple of games. But yes, Rudy Gobert is up at 12.5 boards, all the way down here at the bottom of the list. And there's our guy, Richaun Holmes, who's at 9 rebounds. But, man, he's been struggling the last 3 games. That's what I'm saying. I'm staying away from these Kings. What else are we talking about, though? We've got Conley over assists. Yeah, Mike Conley over 5.5 assists. I took him the other night. He did not get the job done. But this could be a good opportunity for us to go back to Mike Conley. I was calling him the con man the other night because he conned us in thinking we were going to go over 5.5 assists. Let's take a look at this one a little bit closer, okay? Because the last 5 games, he's gone for 8, 8, 7, 7, and then just comes up with 2 against Sacramento. Like, what gives here, Mike Conley Jr.? Let's go look at his assists, though. We'll dig into this one a little bit further because I think this one will also be a popular play, as it does have a high hit rate for the course of the season here. 7 for 10. 7 out of his last 10 games, a 70% hit rate at covering 5.5 assists. You can see 2 of the games that he didn't hit happen to both be against the Sacramento Kings. So he's just not getting it done against the Kings. And he had 2 against Milwaukee back on Halloween, October 31st. 5.4 assists over the course of the season, 6 in his last 10 games, 6.4 in his last 5. So 7 out of 10 hit rate. The Memphis Grizzlies, 30th. That means they are the most giving in terms of assists per game to opposing teams, giving up over 28.1 assists per game. So yeah, Mike Conley over assist, I think looks like a great way to go. We go right back to the prop that let us down the game before, and they got him projected at 5.6 assists, which puts him slightly over that 5.5 hump, getting him closer to 6 than down at the 5 number. So yeah, I don't mind you going back to Mike Conley Jr. over 5.5 assists. I like that. That's a good look there, John. What else are we talking about here? Red Sox says, hey, so please help. If you do, let's say a 5 pick, one of them is Ja Morant, 5 rebounds. What does push mean if he gets exactly 5? So if you play a prop on PrizePicks and it ends up pushing, like Ja Morant, 5 rebounds in this case, say he gets exactly 5 rebounds, well, that 5 pick then reverts down to a 4 pick. So your 5 pick payout, say you get 5 out of 5 right, is 10 times your money. If you get 4 out of 4 right, it's 5 times your money. So if you push on that Ja Morant prop and all the other 4 hit, you would then be looking at a 5 times multiplier of whatever you put in. So if you put in $10, well then, you win 50 instead of 100. So hopefully that helps you out there, Red Sox. What else we talking about here? Yep, Andy, you said exactly what I just said. I wish I would have seen that. Kush says LaMelo. LaMelo what? LaMelo's rebounds have actually kind of been quietly pretty good, which is why they've got him up at 7 today. If you look at his game log, 17, 7, 6, 11, and 10. So he's been rebounding the basketball really, really well. I think I saw somebody mention LaMelo's assists. Let's look at those. 9, 5, 14, 8, and 11. So he's just getting it done across the board in terms of rebounds and assists. So you could go either way there for LaMelo Ball. Let's pull up some projections on these numbers. They got him projected for 7.1 rebounds. So he was at 7 on PrizePicks. And then for his assists, he's at 7.5. They got him projected for exactly 7.5 assists. So maybe based on these projections, you favor the 7 boards. Worst case scenario, you end up in a tie or a push like we were just talking about with Ja Morant's rebounds. But yeah, he's been getting it done in both categories. So there you go. Dave says, lock in Christian Wood under 1.5 3-pointers. Let's take a look at Christian Wood at 1.5 threes. Yeah, this is looking pretty good here. He's gone 0 for 5. Has not covered this prop in 5 straight games. 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1. So going under on Christian Wood at 1.5 threes, based on just a quick glimpse here, looks like a pretty solid way to go. I like it, Dave. I like it. Pavel says Middleton over 4.5 assists. Let's take a look at Chris Middleton as we kind of start to reach the end of the stream here. We are already at 1 hour, almost 1 hour here. 4.5 assists though, 5, 5, 6, and 8. So he's gone over 4.5 assists in 4 out of his last 5. More importantly, though, in his last 3, because he had that long layoff, since November 17th, he's gone over 4.5 in 2 out of 3. So even that's like a 67% hit rate. So we don't mind Chris Middleton, I don't think, at 4.5 assists. I think we talked about his rebounds, too, earlier, didn't we? Didn't we? Yeah, his rebounds also looking like a really good way to go. So if you don't want to play his assists, strongly consider his rebounds, as he has covered this in 5 straight games and in 3 straight since returning from the long layoff. So Chris Middleton over 4.5 assists or over 4.5 rebounds. Both strong options. Let's see what else we're talking about. We're buzzing through here, trying to get to as many of these as I can here, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Smash the like button. All 95 of you watching, hit that like. Let's do the damn thing. Do the damn thing. Do the damn thing. Luke Man says, what y'all think about Giannis assists today? Well, Giannis rebounds has been absolutely smashing, at least in the last 2 games. 19 against OKC, 21 boards against Orlando. Guys, he plays Orlando again tonight. I'm just saying, playing big guys against the Orlando Magic, playing rebound props against the Orlando Magic has worked out for a lot of people that I know. Giannis, 21 boards. Even if he were to get 5 less than this, he still clears 11-5 easily, right? Even if he were to get almost half of 21, he's still right in the neighborhood, right in the ballpark of 11.5 rebounds. I'm just saying, think about his rebounds too. I know you asked about the assists. Let's take a look at those real quick. He has gone over in 4 out of his last 5, so 80% hit rate. 80% of the time he goes over 4.5 assists. Let's pull up a projection here for Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's at 10.7 projected rebounds. So they got him going slightly under 11.5. Man, I don't think that's enough. I think he's going to get at least 11 boards, maybe 12, 13, 14. I mean, he pulled 21 in against Orlando in the first game. We don't need him to get 21. We just need him to get more than 11.5. But his assists are at 5.7, so they do like him to go over assists. They have him going under his rebound prop of 11.5, but over his assist prop at 4.5. But I like the rebounds, man. I like the rebounds against the Magic. What else are we talking about here? Jong says, can you please look up DeMar DeRozan's threes? His threes? We do not have DeMar DeRozan up on the PrizePicks board. We can't pull a projection up, but if you want to kind of just see sort of the hit rate for DeMar DeRozan, we could take a look at his threes. He's not a high volume 3-point shooter. He's also not a high 3-point make type of guy. Indiana at Chicago, though. Not seeing actually any props up yet for the Chicago side of things. So, unfortunately, I cannot do what you have asked me to do, Jong. I apologize, but maybe they'll be up later on props.cash. What else are we talking about here? Dave says, I like the big cat under, taking less shots from downtown lately. Good to know. Good to know. Sorry, there's so many props in here. Patty Mills over 12.5 points. Yeah, maybe Patty Mills steps into a bigger role tonight. We talked about Bruce Brown being out. Kyrie obviously out, been out for the entire season. Joe Harris also out for Brooklyn, so maybe going over on Patty Mills at 12.5. He's gone over in his last 2 games with 21 versus Cleveland and 22 against tonight's opponent, the Orlando Magic. So going over on Patty Mills before the industry catches on might be a good look here. They got him projected for 13.1 points. I like that play. Oh, they're not playing Orlando. They're playing Cleveland. But anyway, you see he scorched Orlando for 22. Yeah. There you go. Patty Mills over 12.5 could be a good look. Hit it in his last 2 games. Says he thinks Patty will have a great night, so he likes it. Cameron, CJ, check out Kevin Huerter under points, please. 12.5 points. I don't have him up on the PrizePicks board at 12.5. Let's just pull up a projection for you real quick because we're trying to wrap the stream up here, see what last few comments and stuff that we have in chat. He's projected for 11.9, but definitely dig a little bit further on Kevin Huerter. That was kind of a bar. A little further on Huerter. There you go. Use that bar in your next rap battle. Barry says, sounds like a good same game parlay for Brooklyn game looming in the comments. Yeah, that could be a good SGP brewing. Says Levert under rebounds and assists have been rocking. So check out Kerose Levert under rebounds and assists. I know I've been taking the under on his fantasy points and it's been working out more often than not. So Will wants to know, how do you get the 15x plays on PrizePicks? So PrizePicks has a way for you to parlay a couple of different plays together, plays that don't really vibe well, we'll say. No, the negative correlation plays, in other words, you can get a 15x payout on those. So it would be something like taking, I want to say it's like a lot of it's triggered by quarterbacks. I want to say if you like take one quarterback, I think it's random, but I think if you take like two quarterbacks over passing yards, then I don't know, maybe that's negative correlation, or taking a quarterback's passing yards over with like a receiver under or something. I don't know. I don't know the exact science to it. I've actually asked PrizePicks about it, and they have not told me what the secret sauce is to getting those 15x payouts. But it definitely seems to be more triggered by like quarterbacks. I've seen people take like one quarterback over passing yards, one quarterback under passing yards, and that triggers the 15x. So you just got to play around with it. I'm not sure exactly what gets you that, though. Seth says Brogdon under rebounds and assists under have been rocking too. So he likes under on Levert, under on Brogdon. Philip Remy says, what do you think about Capella's boards against OKC? I like targeting big guys against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Clint Capella at 12.5 rebounds, kind of a high number. I liked him at 10.5, 11.5, but 12.5, I mean, he could get it done. I think he could get it done. OKC's not very strong inside. They got him projected for 14 boards against the Thunder today. So 1.5 rebounds higher than where he's at on PrizePicks at 12.5. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. What else are we talking? Yeah, Christian Woods under 1.5 threes. We love that. We talked about that one. Los says, what's up, CJ? I like Garland over points. He's been hot. Darius Garland one to check out, y'all. Mike Conley assists. Luke Man wants to go back to Mike Conley's assist. DFS Whisper says, what's up, CJ? Definitely going to watch the replay. Busy morning. Shout out to DFS Whispers. Check out him on YouTube and Twitter. Very active in the content space. Anyone like James Harden double-double tonight? Yeah, I could see James Harden getting a double-double against Cleveland. John Collins over 15.5 real-life points. Collins has been balling lately. John Collins and Clint Capella have both been playing pretty well. Collins, 26, 19, 23, and 20. He's gone over 15.5 in 4 out of his last 5 games, 80% hit rate, and he came super close against the Charlotte Hornets with 15 points. Let's get you a projection on John Collins. They got him projected for 17.3 points, so that would put him over 15.5. So high hit rate. Projections seem to like him as well. I don't mind it. Jaren Jackson Jr. under 14.5 points versus Utah. So says my man Trill Fate, who's been around here for a while, supporting the channel, tuning in, tapping into what we're talking about. So Jaren Jackson Jr. under 14.5 points. He's hit and gone for 18, 18, and 19 in 3 out of his last 5. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I call it a lock or a home run or anything like that, but maybe Trill. I think there's better plays, though, than that. Byron says, Booker over 1.5 3-point makes. Not seeing Devin Booker up on the board just yet, but I'm going to take your word for it, Byron. We'll have to look into that one a little bit further. Geo says the same thing. Booker over 1.5 threes looks really good. So both of you guys, Byron and Geo, both liking the over on Devin Booker at 1.5 threes. Cool. DeJounte Murray's assists are now up. All right. Cameron says, bro, check Giannis assists still. Giannis is so dominant right now. Yeah, I think Giannis tonight against the Magic looking like a good play. Shot by Tree. Booker threes, only 1.5 is a lock. Man, that's the third person who's been on Devin Booker over 1.5 threes. So take a look at Devin Booker over 1.5 threes. Everybody's liking it. They're smashing the Devin Booker over 1.5 threes. If they put him up on PrizePicks, then I'll take a shot on it just because you guys are so in love with it, even though we can't look into it further. But Nick says Spencer Dinwiddie over 3.5 boards. Spencer Dinwiddie over 3.5 boards versus Charlotte. Well, he's failed to cover in his last 2 games, but the previous 3, 5, 11, and 10, crushed 3.5 boards. Let's see if I can pull up a projection here for Dinwiddie. They got him at 5.2 projected rebounds. So if you want to go over, I think that's enough of a differential for you to possibly take the over at 3.5. What else are we talking about? Yep. Another Booker over threes. He hit 2 yesterday, ended up in a push. So at 1.5, yeah, we got to take the over. Trill Fate says that 15x is a trap. ZD the killer, you're fire. CJ, hey, you're fire just for being here and saying that I'm fire. That makes you fire. Let's spread this fire. Drop a like on this video. I appreciate you, ZD. Kevon Meyerberg says Daniel Jones over, Tom over 2.5 touchdowns, and Godwin over 6 receptions activates a 6x payout. See, so it's kind of random, guys. I don't really know, but yeah. DeRozan over 38 fantasy points. He hit last night. I think he could probably do that again tonight. DeRozan has been a very solid contributor for the Chicago Bulls. 38. I think he was at 39 last night. Look at these game logs. 48, 53, 38, 45, and 48. Yeah, keep riding the hot hand on DeMar DeRozan. But that's going to be it, guys. I'm going to get up out of here. We have went 1 hour and 10 minutes into this stream. I appreciate all 78 of you. Thank you for tuning in. Drop a like on this. Make sure you're subscribed. Notifications on. We're on our way to 3,000 subscribers. That's the goal by the end of the year. Let's see if we can get it done. I need your help, though. I need your help. So I'm out of here. Catch you in the next one. Peace.